Hey guys, happy Monday. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. I am excited to talk to you tonight about a few things, but mainly surrounding the topic of the importance of addressing your check engine lights, which could be a nice analogy, I think, for the symptoms that you are experiencing. So I would love to know when you notice a warning light on your car. Maybe it's the check engine light, maybe it's low tire pressure, and there's like so many other warning lights, of course, that could go off in your car. Are you someone who takes it seriously and wants to figure out what the problem is specifically? Or are you someone who waits and waits and waits, or makes up maybe possible reasons for why the lights are going off, but not addressing them? That is something important to consider about yourself. And it might be interesting to consider as well, are you more attentive to your car and your car's needs than you are about yourself and your health? Very important to think about. So let me know that you are here and where you're tuning in from. And if you watch this later on the replay, if you catch it later, then let me know too that you tuned in. Let me know your thoughts on this. So check engine light, warning lights, symptoms. Your body has a communication system. And the question is, do you listen to it or do you ignore it? Do you put off those oil changes, those maintenance checks, those maintenance periods that are important for your car, also known as your body in this analogy? Do you put that off? Do you, try to avoid making an investment in your car, also known as your body? But I think many of us, by thinking about people in our lives, hopefully you are aware that putting things off when it comes to your body and your health is not a good idea. So let me know in the comments below what typically happens if you procrastinate on your health, if you ignore symptoms, if you kind of brush them under the rug and think that it's just something mild, that it's going to get better. What typically happens is that the signals get louder and louder. They don't turn off. They just simply become more evident and more concerning. At least I know that was the case for me with my 7+ years of health challenges. I started getting additional symptoms. So it can be that you start off with 1, 2, 3 particular warning signs, and those signs can become more and more. Before you know it, some individuals with autoimmune conditions, for example, could end up having, a laundry list of symptoms and warning signs, and can snowball if not properly addressed. So that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to also talk about the value. If you've been watching some of my recent videos, I've been talking about value, and that value is really important to consider. So we pay a certain amount for something, but do you consider the value of the item that you are paying for, that you're investing in? We have Black Friday coming up, we have Christmas. A lot of times people are thinking about buying and what can I buy for so-and-so? What can I buy for them that they don't already have? Let me know if that's something that you often think about, okay, how old am I? I've been buying presents for particular people in my family for how many years now? What is a good gift that I can get them that I haven't given them before? You may not be surprised to know or surprised to hear this, but for me, nothing is more important than your health. And so people in my family, people that know me know it is not surprising to get a gift from me that is related to health. And because I live it, I live by it. It is not just something that I say is important. It's something that I do and that I live by. And of course, the people in my life that I care about, I want them to be happy and healthy. So why wouldn't I want to get them something or presents that are related to helping them stay well? So I want you to think about the value of the healthcare, or sometimes I refer to it as sick care, that you are currently receiving, that you're currently experiencing. So when you are getting medical care right now, do you feel as though you are getting a good value for the money that you're spending? I'm so excited to hear what you have to share with me about this topic. So that would include, your insurance. So, based on what you pay for your insurance, do you feel like you're getting a fair exchange, a fair return on what you're paying? For me, I know that when up until the point of resigning from my last employee job, that job had a pretty high deductible plan, and insurance was getting worse and worse as far as, even in a decent, what was considered to be a decent job or a decent paying job at the time, the health insurance rates were going up and up and up. And if you had kids, if you had a family, it was the cost of, like, let's say being a teacher in a school, a public school, the health insurance rates were rising and rising, very high deductible plans. And so sometimes people will come to me and they say they want support for their health. They want to work with me as a health coach. And I think a lot of us know that, currently health insurance does not cover the investment of health coaching. And it's a shame because there's so much value in health coaching, getting support. But in order to invest in health coaching, it requires a shift in mindset. It requires that you look at, okay, I am already spending, or I would be spending, X amount of money toward my health if I was going to pay for this high deductible insurance plan, right? So you don't even get support from your insurance company if you have a high deductible plan. You don't even get their support in paying for something until you've reached, like, I know some of the high deductible plans back when I was, experiencing it, they were in the thousands. So the thing is, I just wanted to make sure that this was something that I talked about, because it came to mind, is that, you might think that you're getting free insurance, but you're already having to invest and pay so much money before that your insurance plan even kicks in, right? So if you are, spending, let's say, $2,500 until your insurance kicks in on particular services, the thing to think about is, how is the quality of those services? Are you satisfied? What kind of value are you actually getting for that $2,500 that you and your family are shelling out? I don't know about you, but for me, I would want that money to be going toward things that are actually going to get me well and help me stay well. And so, what I've found, my own experience, is insurance rarely paid for anything that was beneficial to me. Sometimes it would cover, lab work, but besides that, the people that I got help from, who helped me the most, they did not accept insurance. And there's a reason for that, because insurance doesn't typically like to support holistic, natural wellness that gets results and helps people actually get well and stay well. It is a system of sick care that gets you in this revolving door of sickness where you're just going round and round and round. And if you get well, guess what? that money stops going round and round and round, right? So I would ask you, do you want to be stuck on this revolving door around and around and around? And how much money and how much time and how much energy will you be shelling out when you're stuck in that revolving door of sickness and disease, versus saying, I'm done with this. I'm getting out of the revolving door, and I'm going to invest in quality support that will get me the results I need and want in an efficient time period. That is what I desired so much back in roughly 2015, when I had many different symptoms, the low energy, the digestive issues, and then I started getting painful burning in my hands and my feet. That was not something that I could just sit on, so to speak, procrastinate on. It needed to get better yesterday. Anyone who lives in chronic pain understands that it's not just I'm just gonna let this go, I'll be okay kind of thing. It is a very pressing need to address. And so I relate to you if you are someone like that. But anyway, so I just wanted you to think about what your current healthcare sick care plan is. Is it actually offering you value? I know that I have had a health savings account in the past, and even that health savings account, which claims to be so helpful in terms of being able to use the money on what you want and what you need. Mine covers like Band-Aids, over-the-counter types of stuff, but it does not cover things like health coaching, a gym membership, massage therapy, things that would be so beneficial for stress relief, for helping me in maintaining my health. Doesn't cover any of it. So, and it limits what I can spend on. So I'm like, I got this chunk of money, but I can't use it. My hands feel tied. And so I would encourage you to put money aside for things that are truly going to be helpful for you and your health, and not get stuck in stipulations where you can't even use the money that you have put aside. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. You are going to be investing one way or another in your health. It really is just a matter of where you're putting your money. And then based on where you put your money, what kind of value are you getting back from where you're putting that money? And also, if you choose to invest in your health now versus waiting, you're going to be paying. It's just a matter of when. So are you going to wait until things get really bad, or are you going to address your health now? And most people, if they address their health sooner than later, typically the prognosis, so to speak, or the time that it takes to heal or to get better is typically a shorter time period. If you wait longer, as I think you can probably imagine, right? The longer you're in a situation, the more complex it can become, the more symptoms you start to have, and you start piling symptom upon symptom upon symptom. Some people are piling medication upon medication upon medication. And that is a much bigger issue, a bigger challenge than if you would have addressed it earlier. So you're going to be paying one way or another. You're going to be paying in the upfront investment of getting high quality support, addressing things, nipping them in the butt before they get worse, or you'll end up paying, let's think about in what ways. You'll be paying in your medications, your co-pays. Some people who are on medications know some medications have had shortages, so you might be relying on a medication that's not even readily available anymore, and then fearing or not knowing what to do because you become reliant on that medication. If you've heard about certain medications, like the glucose testing strips, people with diabetes, those had become difficult to get, or they became very high cost at one point. And so the price goes up on things. And I hate to say it, but if something is extremely expensive, those companies that are selling those things, they're making bank, and they've got you with your hands tied, and they know that you need those things. And so, would it be better to prevent the health problem in the first place, or to then become reliant, wait, and become reliant on the meds, the products, the things that you feel like you absolutely now have to rely upon, right? The other thing I wanted to share with you is that, the problem that I help, I would say there's kind of problems too. The problems I help support in my health coaching, if you're not familiar, I help people who are dealing with chronic health symptoms, including low energy, frequent aches and pains, and or digestive issues. People can have one, two, or all three of those. Everyone is unique in how their body presents with illness and disease. And who I help, I mainly help women who are hardworking women, who are heart-centered, who are often caring for other people, whether they're caring for people in their job, people like nurses, also could be like caregivers, people who care for someone, let's say in a nursing home, teachers, because teachers certainly spend a lot of time caring for their students and in their own ways, right? Really serving other people, serving kids and families. It could be therapists. My background is as a speech therapist, so I know the struggles of being in the therapy world and having a heart for helping people, but how it can easily lead to burnout and health problems. So I help women who are caring so much for other people. It might be their children, their family members. They might be caregiving for a family member or like a parent or a spouse who has maybe even a chronic disease or illness. And why it matters to me. Like, why am I doing health coaching? Why did I decide to get certified to be a health coach 7 years ago when I already had a profession as a speech therapist? The reason why it matters to me so much is because I firsthand experienced the challenges of a chronic illness that was not understood well, that when I went to doctors, sometimes they looked at me like I was making it up, acting like it was all in my head because they didn't know what to do for me. And I felt like I was a ball in a pinball machine. I think some people are quite familiar with pinball machines, but let me know, like, have you ever played pinball? But basically you have the machine and you fling the ball up and it goes in the machine and it bounces off different things. And based on the way it bounces around, you could get an accumulation of points. And so in that game, it's kind of good to bounce around and get into awesome spots and to be all around. But as a person, being let me try this again. Pinballed around in a sick care system is not a good feeling. So I'm curious if you can relate to that, of feeling just like a number, an object being passed back and forth. I don't know what to do for you, so I'll send you over here, and then you get over here, you tell people your health story, your health background, and before you know it, they're pinballing you to the next specialist, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of time, money, and energy and frustration that occurs the longer you're being pinballed around in that system. And I personally experienced that for about 7 years. So why it matters to me is that time is valuable. We don't get time back. So while I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I have a lot of things that I learned and it helped me to grow in so many ways, those 7 years of health challenges have definitely shaped me into who I am today and why I became a certified holistic wellness coach. However, I don't wish that length of a health struggle on anyone. We all have different journeys, but think about the difference between being chronically ill or, very sick or having multiple symptoms. Think about the difference between, experiencing that, let's say, for about 6 months versus 7 years. So those 7 years when I was feeling sick are years of my life that I don't get back, okay? And my illness, my low energy, my digestive issues, the pain that I had in my hands and my feet, that impacted every other aspect of my life, right? So I also had a lot of foggy thinking. And so it took me a lot of effort to do my job as a speech therapist, to be able to keep straight all of the children. Often speech therapists can have 40, 50, 60 and on up kids on their caseload who all have unique goals. You have to write the goals. You have to take progress on them. You have to talk with families. You've got to talk with all of the teachers and the staff that work with the child. And there's just a lot that goes into that job. And to try to do a job like that with foggy thinking and feeling very depleted is not an easy thing by any means. So I was simply trying to get through the workday and survive, given the level of health or lack thereof that I had at that time. So yeah, I don't wish it upon anyone. I believe that that it is important for people to get quality help in a timely manner for true prevention of health problems from getting worse and worse. And that is what I wish that I had, so that it would have minimized that 7-year journey into maybe more like a year, 2 years maybe would sure have been better than 7 years, right? And so I also, why it matters to me is that we are all connected. So, when I was not feeling great, that the mood I was in, my ability to cope with stress, all kinds of things, that affected everybody else around me in one way or another, right? So if I came to work and I was, I had a smile on my face, that's what people always said, because I was doing my best, the best I could, still, I was bringing a different energy to that workplace when I was feeling chronically ill than I would have been if I was feeling healthy. I could have been able to bring my A game instead of like my B game. For some people, they'd be like, Emily, it would still seem like an A game, but it took everything I had to stay at that A game. It took sometimes long nights or, paperwork without the wazoo, like it can be for speech therapists. So I was doing work in the evenings, which certainly didn't help my health problems. Anyway, so I believe that it's so important for society, for all of us, each one of us being healthier, getting healthier. There's a ripple effect that occurs. When you show up differently, that affects every single person in your life and who you come into contact with. And I have seen that personally through my own health upgrade, health transformation. I'm a different person when I'm around people now versus the Emily who was not feeling great and who was feeling more tired and less than optimal. I would have been the person that would have had been more likely to say no if someone invited me to do something back then, because I didn't have a whole lot of energy outside of the workday. Work was taking everything out of me, and I didn't have much more to give, right? Maybe you can relate to that. So I also wanted to share that research statistics are showing that this generation of children may not outlive their parents. And so that is a big why for me as well. I love supporting kids and families. As a speech therapist, I've primarily worked with children. And it's very sad, and it should be concerning to all of us, that this generation of kids is slated to not outlive us, and definitely not outlive the baby boomer generation. And the reason for that is the chronic illness and diseases that are occurring. I can think of people in my life personally who, have major illnesses, major diseases, who are more in my generation or younger. And sadly, some of them are already have passed on. And so that to me is a testament, and it supports the research that I've been seeing and hearing about, the older generations being stronger, healthier, stronger immune systems. And things have to change if we want our kids to have a healthier, happier lives, and to have a quality lifespan, right? So that they will live longer, but also be healthier, have a good health span. All right, I was just trying to think of anything else. Oh, I did want to share with you too. I recently posted about, aches and pains, and so many people I know tell me about their back hurting, their legs hurting, their knees hurting, their joints hurting, this and that. And like I said, I can relate. I had burning pain in my hands and feet that all I wanted to do was get it to stop roughly 8 years ago. Right around Thanksgiving, actually, ironically. And as a result of hearing how many people are experiencing this, I wanted to create a special health coaching offering for those of you who are dealing with this frequent aches and pains. I am offering something new. It has basically, the first part of it is I'm going to be doing a wellness workshop on inflammation and aches and pains and what to do about it. And that's going to be the first part of the offering. And then the second part of it is going to be a one-on-one 30-minute calm the inflammation consult with me. So you will be getting great information, great education from the workshop. Then you'll also be, we'll be scheduling a 30-minute personalized consult with me. And those two together will be a powerful duo of offerings to help you in your health journey to feel better, to love your life, and to get power over the pain that you've been feeling. So if you would like more details on that special offering, put power over pain in the comments, and I will reach out to you to get you more details and to answer any questions that you might have. Again, put power over pain in the comments if you're interested in that workshop, and also the 30-minute personalized consult. I have a special savings for those who sign up for that. If you sign up, the first 10 people who sign up for that by this Wednesday night at midnight will have a huge savings on it. So it will be open to other people, but in order to get the special savings, you must let me know and sign up by this Wednesday evening at midnight. I'm so excited about things that I have in the works for my health coaching and to best serve my clients and to serve those who are in need. And just super excited. Thanks so much for tuning in. Would love to hear from you and hear about what health challenges are you dealing with? What do you find most challenging about health these days? I do love to support people overall with healthy living. What does it mean to eat healthy these days in the 21st century? What does, with Thanksgiving coming up, what does it look like to have a healthier Thanksgiving? Those are things that I can address with people in a personalized consult, a private consult. And I also offer a 3-month ongoing coaching program for people to provide ongoing support and to be able to address your individual needs. I think that is so important and needed. And again, something that I wished I would have had back when I was struggling and then needed to make some dietary changes. I had a list of foods not to eat, and that was about it. So I know the support that I needed back then, and that's what I offer to my clients now. Hope you have an amazing evening. Look forward to being in touch. And please share this if you know someone who's dealing with frequent aches and pains, who's trying to get healthier, who is fed up with their lack of health right now and is committed, invested to doing what it takes to make changes. The time is now. Like I said, you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. So it's your choice. Have a good night. Bye.